Let me ask you something. What's your earliest memory? Go ahead, think about it. Maybe it's your third birthday party. Maybe it's your first day of school. Maybe it's something even earlier, a moment with your parents, a room in your childhood home, something that feels absolutely real, absolutely clear, a moment that's unmistakably yours. Here's the thing, that memory is almost certainly fake. Not metaphorically fake, not sort of fake, actually genuinely physically fake. I'm Leonard Susskind, and I have spent decades thinking about the nature of information, how the universe stores it, how it processes it, how it can and cannot be destroyed. And the more I've learned about physics and neuroscience, the more one uncomfortable truth keeps emerging. Your memories, the foundation of who you think you are, the record of your past that feels so solid and so undeniable, are being rewritten constantly, not preserved, rewritten. Every time you remember something, you're not accessing a file, you're creating a new one, and that new version replaces the old one forever. So buckle up, because we're about to take apart everything you think you know about who you are, piece by piece, and put it back together in a way that's actually true, but far more disturbing than you imagine. Let's start with the most basic misconception. Most people think memory works like a recording, like a video camera. You experience something, your brain records it, and then later you can play it back, retrieve the file, watch the memory again, and that playback is accurate. It's what really happened. That's the intuitive picture. That's what every moment of remembering seems to confirm. You close your eyes, you think back, and there it is, the memory, clear, real, unchanged. But that picture is wrong, deeply, fundamentally, neurologically wrong. Here's what actually happens. When you experience something, your brain encodes it as a pattern of neural connections, synapses, strengths of connections between neurons. That pattern is the memory. And when you remember it, your brain doesn't retrieve that pattern unchanged. It reconstructs it from fragments, from cues, from context, from your current emotional state, from everything else you've learned since. The act of remembering is an act of creation. You're not replaying a recording. You're painting a picture from incomplete sketches. And here's the disturbing part. Every time you remember something, you change it. The act of retrieval alters the memory. Neuroscientists call this reconsolidation. When you activate a memory, it becomes unstable, malleable, open to modification. And when it gets stored again, it's not the same memory you retrieved. It's a new version, influenced by your current state, by what you were thinking about, by what you believe should have happened, by what makes emotional sense now. The original is gone, overwritten, forever. Think about what that means. Really think about it. Your clearest childhood memory, the one you've thought about 1,000 times, the one you've told people about, the one that feels so real you could swear to its accuracy. That memory has been rewritten 1,000 times. Each telling, each remembering, each replay changed it, subtly, incrementally, but changed it. The memory you have now is not the memory you had 10 years ago, and neither of those is what actually happened. You're remembering a memory of a memory of a memory, generations removed from the original event, like a photocopy of a photocopy of a photocopy, each iteration degrading, each iteration adding noise, each iteration drifting further from the source. But it gets worse. Because it's not just that memories degrade, it's that they get contaminated by other memories, by things you've seen, by things you've been told, by things you imagined. Your brain doesn't distinguish between real memories and false ones, not reliably. There's a famous experiment. Elizabeth Loftus, a psychologist, showed that you can implant completely false memories in people, memories of events that never happened. She convinced subjects that they'd been lost in a shopping mall as children, a traumatic event, detailed, emotional. Except it never happened. Their parents confirmed it never happened. But the subjects remembered it, vividly, with details, with feelings. The memory felt as real as any other memory they had, because to their brain it was real. The neural pattern was indistinguishable from a genuine memory. False memories aren't glitches. They're a feature of how memory works. Your brain fills in gaps. It creates coherence. It constructs narratives that make sense, and in doing so, it invents constantly. Studies suggest that a significant fraction of your most confident memories contain major errors. Things that didn't happen the way you remember, things that happened differently, things that didn't happen at all. You are carrying around a false history, and you have no way of knowing which parts. RTS are false. Now let me take you deeper, because there's a physics angle to this that makes it even more unsettling. In quantum mechanics, there's a principle called the observer effect. The act of measuring a quantum system changes it. You can't observe something without disturbing it, and while your brain is not a simple quantum system, it is a physical system made of particles, obeying physical laws. And those laws say that information storage is never perfect, never permanent, never unchanged by time. In thermodynamics, there's a concept called entropy, the tendency of systems to become more disordered over time. Your memories are subject to entropy. The neural connections that encode them degrade. They're influenced by thermal fluctuations, by molecular noise, by the constant activity of your brain doing other things. The universe is actively erasing your memories, slowly, continuously. And your brain's attempt to fight this, to maintain the memory, involves reconstructing it, which, as we've established, means changing it. The original signal is lost in the noise. What remains is your brain's best guess at what the signal was, not the signal itself. And here's where relativity comes in. Because even if you could somehow preserve a memory perfectly unchanged, there's a deeper problem. The event you're remembering, the thing that actually happened, that event exists in the past. And the past, according to Einstein, is not a single well-defined thing. Observers in different reference frames, moving at different velocities, disagree about what events are simultaneous. They disagree about the order of events. They have different perspectives on what happened when. Your memory is a reconstruction of an event. But which version of the event? From whose reference frame? The universe doesn't have a single objective, observer-independent record of what happened. The past is not a fixed thing that your memory can be compared against for accuracy. The past is a perspective-dependent construct, and your memory is one perspective's reconstruction based on incomplete information, degraded by time, contaminated by other memories, rewritten every time you access it. What are you even remembering? Let me tell you about something even more disturbing, the sense of self, who you are. Most people think of themselves as continuous, the same person they were 10 years ago, 20 years ago, since childhood, the same you. Continuous through time, and the thing that makes you continuous is memory. You remember being that child. Okay. You remember the experiences that shaped you. You remember the decisions you made. You remember the person you were. And that memory is what connects past you to present you. It's the thread of identity, except that thread is made of lies. If your memories are constantly being rewritten, if they're false, if they're contaminated, if they're reconstructions rather than recordings, then what exactly is connecting you to your past self? Not an accurate record, not a reliable history, a story, a narrative your brain has constructed, a story that changes every time you remember it. You're not the same person you were 10 years ago, not because you've changed, but because the person you think you were 10 years ago never existed, not the way you remember them. You're remembering a fiction, a character your brain invented, and you're identifying with that character, calling it you. Here's the really deep question. If your past is not what you remember, if your memories are reconstructions, if the self is a narrative built from false memories, then who are you? What is the continuous you that persists through time? The answer that physics gives is disturbing. There is no continuous you. You are not an object that persists. You are a process, a pattern, a configuration of matter and energy that's constantly changing. The you of 10 years ago is gone, scattered. The atoms that made up your body then are mostly gone, replaced by new atoms. The neural connections that encoded your thoughts then have been rewritten repeatedly. The memories that linked that you to this you have been degraded, contaminated, reconstructed. What persists is not a thing. It's a pattern of organization, a structure that maintains itself by constantly rebuilding, constantly rewriting its own history. You're not remembering your past. You're inventing a past that makes sense of your present, and then identifying with that invented past, calling it you. Now I know what you're thinking. This is too much. This is nihilism. If my memories are fake, if my past is a fiction, if my sense of self is an illusion, then what's real? What can I trust? And I understand that reaction. It's disturbing. But here's what I want you to understand. The fact that your memories are reconstructions doesn't mean they're meaningless. The fact that your sense of self is a narrative doesn't mean it's not real. What it means is that you are not a static thing. You are not a recording. You're not a fixed identity carved in stone. You are a dynamic process, a living story that rewrites itself constantly, adapting, changing, creating meaning as it goes. And that's not a weakness. That's what makes you alive. That's what makes you capable of growth, of change, of becoming something new. If your memories were perfect recordings, you'd be trapped by your past, unable to reinterpret it, unable to change its meaning, unable to move forward. The fact that memory is reconstruction rather than playback is what gives you freedom. The freedom to rewrite your story, to change the meaning of your past, to become